I've been bullet journaling for over 5 years now, and I only do one type of spread. No monthly logs, no complicated designer spreads, no collections, no gratitude lists, no any of that, just weekly spreads. And that has worked for me for over 5 years. So far as how my weekly spreads are set up, it's very, very simple, but also pretty. So I kind of fall somewhere in the middle of that whole thing of like, should we go with simplicity and just writing things, or should we make it all designer and have some pretty elements to it? And I like to marry the both, and I like to keep it very simple, but also have it be pretty and creative and fun to look at. So here it is. On the left-hand side, I have just the days of the week. And on the right-hand side, I have the list of tasks that I plan to do that week or think I might do that week. They're really just a suggestion. If they don't all get done that week, no big deal. So I split that into business and personal tasks. And lately I've been also cutting a little bit into this personal task time and adding Sunday over there instead of splitting this last block between Saturday and Sunday like I used to do. So because for me as an entrepreneur, weekends are not really all that different from weekdays. In fact, some weekdays I spend the whole day rock climbing, and then sometimes on Sunday, that's my rest day, and I have a whole pile of tasks to do. So I give each of those days a whole block there. And also for personal tasks, I don't always have a lot of those, so it was fine to take a little bit of that real estate away. The other element that I have really enjoyed is that I have different projects in my businesses, or really I have 3 different businesses, and actually kind of technically 4 different businesses now if I can include this YouTube channel. And I like to give each of those a special, its own little spot to be on this side. So I used to do this only with decorative stickers that I got, especially the ones that come with these sticker sets from Happy Planner. So each of the businesses, so I have 2 Airbnb businesses, I have a modeling business, and I have this YouTube channel, which is my new project. And I give each of those a designated little spot here. Lately, I've been designating those spots in a bit of a different way just because I kind of ran out of those stickers and I didn't want to be wasteful and get new ones. And so I have just been using other elements to designate those spots. And I want to say that why this works for me so well is that it is very simple to set up. I know you see some designer elements, and that is what keeps it fun and fresh for me as well. So every time I turn the page to a new week, it's like a fresh start. It's a new fun thing to look at, and it takes almost no time to set up. I made a detailed video about how I do the actual setup process, the stickers that I use, the tape that I use, like the actual process that I use to do it. But believe me, it can take me as little as 2 or 3 minutes to actually put this all together, maybe 5. Or it can take longer if you really want it to. It's up to you. But you know why I love this is that, you know how like when you put Post-it notes all over your space, or you put lists of tasks on your whiteboard or your chalkboard in your kitchen, not only are you having to reread those things all of the time, but it at the same time becomes this visual clutter that's always present in your space, but it also becomes part of the background. And I feel like when you turn over a new page and it's a completely new design that you have made yourself, and you have to write those tasks that you haven't done from the previous week on the next week, it reactivates it because you are yet again making a conscious decision to migrate things from one week to the next, but also you have something new and fun to look at. I know that every time I look at my bullet journal, it sparks a little bit of joy for me. So this is one of the main reasons that has helped me to stay consistent about it. The other thing is that I love to see my whole week laid out. Somewhere in the beginning of my entrepreneur journey, I found myself as somebody who works for myself full time, and yet I was seeing my friends that were having full-time jobs going and doing the things that they liked, that I like too, like going rock climbing, a lot more than I was. And I think that some of that is that they had that stability, they had that routine, and they said, okay, cool, I'm taking the weekend as my time off. That's when I go rock climbing. Whereas I had all this control over my time, but yet I found that I was working all of the time. So I have over time decided that I'm really going to prioritize the things that bring me joy, and I put those in my week first. I fit everything else around it, and I can see that all of the necessary things, even the drudgery work that I don't really love to do, like the bookkeeping and just the menial tasks, paying bills, those things will get accomplished, but also I am making time for the things that are fun and creative. Yeah, I also make time, of course, for my creative work and that, make me feel alive. And so I get to have this visual representation that not only am I making time for these things, and maybe if I can't make a whole lot of time for it this week, I'm going to make time for it next week, that also over time, my life is becoming more and more of what I want it to be. And that's what I think is so beautiful about the bullet journal altogether, but especially just seeing it in only weekly spreads. These are the tasks I'm doing every week. And something I want to point out here is that maybe for some that are used to that bullet journaling method where every day it's a new day and you just write all your tasks and there isn't any limit to the amount of space you have. This might be like, oh, I'm so boxed into this little space that you have. I have to say that in my personal experience, I have found that this is plenty of space to write all the tasks that I need in any given day. If there happens to be a day that I need more space, I simply borrow space from usually it's like this. It's like Sunday, I'm really crushing and getting a lot of tasks done. And Wednesday, though, I went rock climbing all day, so I have plenty of space and real estate in that space, and I just take some space away from that one and co-opt it for the day that needs a little bit more space to write more tasks. Easy. And one other thing that actually helps me to have enough space is to use a journal that has 3.5 millimeter spacing, because I really do like to write very neatly right on the lines, and I find that 5 millimeter spacing just simply doesn't give me enough lines to write on. The journal I currently use is the Nuna journal. It has larger pages. I think it was $40, but then with shipping, because I ordered it, it was $48. Another one that I have used that I do really like, and I do like the compact and small size of it, is the Clever Fox journal, and I will link both of those below. Now I think it's appropriate to talk about the things that I don't put in my bullet journal that a lot of other people do, such as monthly spreads, or maybe even a yearly kind of overview, or a list of goals, or collections of tasks that belong to a certain category, kind of a brain dump situation like a lot of people like to do. One of the big reasons I don't do those things in my bullet journal is because I either don't do them or I do them in other places. I just find a digital medium to be more useful for some of those things. Particularly one of those things is a monthly calendar, having things on a monthly calendar in something like Google Calendars. It just makes a whole lot more sense to me, and having something that is an overview of all the monthly log, what is called a monthly log, the tasks that you plan to do on any particular month. I just have to be honest, I've just never done it, and I've never felt that I needed to. Although, life changes, I could try it out and find that it's a total game changer for me. If that's not beyond the realm of possibility. Collections, or things that are like a brain dump, like, okay, I just have all these ideas for things that I want to do for my one Airbnb house or business. I like to put those in a digital note, such as Apple Notes. So I'm an iPhone user and I use a Mac. So I like that medium because, you can add links, you can add images, it just stays there forever, and it's always at your fingertips. So, and I can type a whole lot faster than I can write anyway. So I very much like to put those kind of things right in the Notes app. And the next thing might be just plain old journaling, like when you just write out your thoughts, or you do morning pages where you're just kind of stream of consciousness, or writing out your ideas or your visions. Scripting, for example, as a manifestation technique, saying how your ideal life would look. Those things just seem very personal to me. And I live a fairly mobile lifestyle. I'm always traveling around. I always have this physical book, my bullet journal, with me at coffee shops, at other people's houses, wherever it is that I'm staying. There may be a lot of people around. It might be my family, it might be my friends, strangers. whatever. I've left the book at the gym once before and then had to go back and get it. And so I just don't want to have, my personal life visions written down in this book. I want it to just purely be a list of tasks that I'm doing in any particular week. And for a similar reason, because of my mobile lifestyle, I don't want a lot of things in the physical book that I need to refer back to. So I am not going to carry around a whole stack of books. So if it's something that I do want to reference a year from now, that's where a digital medium that comes with me wherever I go is just more practical. But Erin, don't you forget things. I mean, you can't write all of the huge list of tasks that you think that you want to do in every area of your life, your goals, your fitness goals, all those kind of things into every single week, right? Don't you forget things sometimes? And the answer is that, yeah, sure, sometimes things aren't always in the forefront of my mind. Again, I do have places, digital places to keep lists of things like that. And I don't know, I might grow into trying it out again, trying a different way of doing monthly logs or something that I have not done in the past, because I have tried it and I didn't like it. But I find that it's okay. Like, if it isn't important enough for me to put it on my list this week, and if it is important enough, and even though I haven't done it, I'll just keep putting it on the list until I've done it. But if it's not that important, then really does it have to be done? Because you have to understand, your whole life is not about just doing things. It's not just about getting more stuff done. It's about living a more satisfying life. I love this quote from Seth Godin that is something like, looking at what you did today and saying, what was the best part of today? What was the best thing that I did today? And how can I do more of that tomorrow? And doing that more and more the next day. For me personally, the answer to that question is very different on different days. So the best part of yesterday is that I went rock climbing at the Red River Gorge, which is where I am now. I'm on a climbing trip. And today is a rest day. And the best part of today is doing this creative work that I'm doing right now. I think, the day isn't over yet, who knows, but I do genuinely love this. And so how can I have a life where I'm doing more and more of this? And by how, I don't mean figuring it out with your mind, because I don't think, honestly, that this is how the universe works. You just say, it feels good to live a life where I'm doing more of this, and just let source take care of the details of it for you. And meanwhile, you're living your life. You're still doing the necessary things you have to do. Sometimes that includes the things that you don't want to do so much. And again, I think this is where bullet journaling has really shone for me in my life, is that sometimes you have great weeks like this. I'm on a climbing trip. It's awesome. Next week, I'll be hanging out with my family, and that'll be a different kind of awesome. The week after that, I'll be climbing again. That will also be awesome. But there are other weeks where I'm actually doing quite a lot of drudgery, doing a home improvement project, working a lot on my taxes or something like that. And those weeks, sometimes I can feel really sorry for myself, but the journal kind of holds it and shows me that all of the weeks are different. Things never stay the same. And it's not for me to have to plan out how I'm going to get from point A to point B in all of the steps in between. It is just up to me to embody who I really want to be, embody the person who is doing more of the things that I want to do, and do it the best that I can right now. The benefit, of course, is that the journal just stays very focused on that one thing. The purpose of this journal is to map out what you are doing today and this week, and maybe next week. And that is it. And that is the whole function of the journal. Then you can easily, when you are finished with that journal, just throw it away if you want to, but I keep mine, but I don't need them to be in my physical presence all the time. I have, 4 other journals from the last 4 years, but they aren't physically with me, and I don't need them to be, because there isn't any information in there that I need to refer to. Also, not including a lot of other things, it just doesn't give me extra tasks to do. I don't have to do a whole review of my week. I don't have to, other than migrating some tasks over that haven't been done the previous week to the next week. I don't, have to write what was I most grateful for this week, all of those kind of things. If you want to do those things, of course, this is the whole beauty of bullet journaling. It is flexible and you can do whatever you want, but I'm just presenting to you a way that you can do it very simply, but also still have some design elements to it if that's your jam. So I'm curious, have you tried weekly spreads like this? Do you like to do monthly spreads? Do you like to do that whole calendar view? Do you like to do a yearly thing? Would collections just be indispensable to you in your bullet journal? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear from you. And for a really detailed video of my entire system, including the digital tools that I use, Google Calendar, Notes app, and things like that, go ahead and check out the link in the description below. And finally, I just want to make the point that this isn't the right way to bullet journal, of course. It's just a way that's really worked for me. And I believe that we're in a world of resonance, and so I just put it out there in the world, and there are going to be some people who will really resonate with this simple yet still aesthetic way of doing it, and this is why I make these things. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.